Your boyfriend hates you. Sorry to break it to you. Or maybe not. I actually don't know. But what I do know is that this is one of the oldest tropes in Western culture, and it is severely overlooked. So today we are going to talk about how to recognize whether your boyfriend secretly hates you, why it happens, using some of the most iconic cultural examples, from Shakespeare to The Devil Wears Prada. I mean, the first movie, obviously. The second one is just, But before we start, my name is Veronica, and welcome to my channel. Here I talk about culture, life, and modern love. We used to believe that people who voluntarily choose to be in a relationship should love one another, support each other through hard times, and share the joy when life is good. What actually happens in reality is often far from our dreams. And I'm going to talk about three main dynamics with this trope, my boyfriend secretly hates me, that you may have experienced yourself, or at least could have observed around you. And this first one is the superior intellectual. This dynamic belongs to the man who resents your independence, your subjectivity. The problem is that he is deeply attracted to it, but at the exact same time, he cannot stand it. In real life, this translates into demeaning comments, constantly pointing out all your flaws and insecurities, and maintaining spoken or unspoken notion that you need to change. One of the best examples illustrating this trope is Rachel Green and Ross Geller from the cult TV show Friends. It's been implied from the very first episode of the show that Ross has been in love with Rachel for years, but she was always unreachable and outside of his social circle, like basically out of his league, until the moment she ran away from her own wedding, left her rich father and his money behind, and started working as a waitress. That is the exact moment Ross felt confident enough to start pursuing her. Their dynamic really hits a wall in season 2, episode 8, and this single episode tells us everything we need to know about Ross Geller. Quick side note, Ross is a scientist, for those who didn't watch, and like many people in academia, he thinks very, very, very highly of himself. The status this title gives him allows him to overcompensate for all his insecurities, especially with women. And when he meets Rachel, it's a moment of major life changes for her. For the first time in her life, Daddy's little princess, and I mean it in a good way, has to live on her own and build a completely new personality, which makes her deeply vulnerable. And to be honest, it would make anyone vulnerable. Ross at this moment feels superior to her in this state. And on top of this, he's still feeling hurt by his ex-wife cheating on him with a woman. So in episode 8, Ross kisses Rachel while he's still in relationship with another woman, Julie, who's also a scientist. But this act alone isn't enough for him to figure out what he wants, so he goes down a humiliating path for both of them and makes a literal pros and cons list. Good job, Ross. Good job. Bravo. Spoiler alert. If you need to make a pros and cons list to decide on a person, you don't need this relationship. Just don't embarrass yourself. And here's what he lists is Rachel's cons. Spoiled. ditzy, too into her looks. And my favorite, my personal favorite, just a waitress. Whereas he and Julie are both paleontologists. And the cons list for Julie, well, she's not Rachel. So we clearly see he wants completely different type of woman. He wants Rachel next to him. But he sees all her flaws and he has no shame of naming them. Look, maybe that seems romantic to some people, maybe funny, but in reality, a man who easily catalogs your flaws and uses them against you is not your man and never should be. He should never be a man, especially when he does it while cheating on his current girlfriend. This is such a major red flag. I don't know, like, who could have thought that this is romantic? To recap, Ross only feels comfortable approaching Rachel at the moment of a visible power shift. Only when he can feel superior to her when she is just a waitress. And he's the great paleontologist of all time, coming to save her. Like, man, go touch the grass. Maybe Rachel is just a waitress for now. But don't forget, she is still a well-protected, ambitious daughter of a wealthy family. Yet in her moment of vulnerability, Ross takes advantage of her, makes her to compete with other women. And when Rachel confronts him and openly says that the person she trusted most used all her self-doubt against her, Ross says, prepare. I love you in spite of those things. Phenomenal. Thank you, Ross, for your huge heart. The second dynamic follows from this one, and this is a classist snob. This dynamic is about social class. It's about anything related to your background or upbringing. And this man usually like to play saviors at the beginning. They enter your life, drag you out of your misery, in their words, right? And act as though you now owe them an unrepayable debt. They will hate you just to keep controlling you, constantly reminding you where you would be if it was not for their mercy in saving your hopeless soul. These men are usually wealthy and they will use money as a tool just as much as they hatred to keep you close and obedient. Probably the best example of this dynamic is Mr. Darcy. I know, he might have been your fictional crush growing up, or maybe he still is. But girl, look, it's time to grow up and put the big girl pants on. It is not okay when a man spends his entire marriage proposal explaining how hard he tried not to be in love with you because you aren't worthy of his status.
My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. In declaring myself thus, I am fully aware that I will be going expressly against the wishes of my family, my friends, and I hardly need add my own better judgment.
Next. There is no coming back from that. Like, there is no second chance. There's nothing, no. The door is closed. You hear that and you leave immediately. On the spot. No explanation needed, but because society considers this one of the greatest love stories ever written, we watch this dynamic develop even after that insulting proposal. From the very beginning, we see that Elizabeth is not his ideal woman. He perceives her as a lower status, despises her mother and sister, and resents her lack of wealth. He likes her, but not enough. Now, wealth isn't the only defining factor here. Social standing is. We see a modern version of this in Legally Blonde. Ellie's boyfriend, Werner Huntington III, the guy she thinks is about to propose, is old money rich. Ellie is rich too, but she's new money rich. She's this bimbo, pretty fashionable and cute, but she won't elevate his social status of an old money heir.
You're
breaking up with me? I thought you were proposing.
Proposing? Elle, if I'm gonna be a senator, well, I need to marry a Jackie.
Even though he's happy to date her, and later on, he calmly explains that a man like him can't marry a girl like her because he's going to Harvard Law School, and well, she's just hot. And the third one is probably my favorite one, the Emasculated Rival. This is the most obvious and probably the one you see the most often dynamic. The man who resents your success. This man will hate you if you dare to wish for more. Yet ironically, he chooses you because of your ambition and drive. In my opinion, encountering this type of man is a canon event in the life of a modern, ambitious woman. I heard so many stories like that. I know them firsthand. Just the best example and one that is severely overlooked is Anne Hathaway's character's boyfriend, Nate, in The Devil Wears Prada. I highly recommend watching this movie with your boyfriend just to see his reaction to their relationship. That alone will tell you everything you need to know about where your love boat is sailing. And hopefully, it is not the toxic will. Back to Nate. The entire movie, and I mean it, the entire movie, this man hates his girlfriend so much that it is painful to watch. His immediate reaction to her getting a job at a major fashion magazine is this quote: "You got a job at a fashion magazine? What? Was it the phone interview?" So this little boy, because his behavior is so far from an adult man and that I refuse to call him one, works at a mid-level restaurant where even his friends point out that they use paper napkins. Yet he makes fun of his girlfriend, who was a decorated student journalist in the college and just landed the job half the young women in New York would kill for. He has the audacity to devalue her in front of their friends. And instead of viewing this job as a major achievement, Andy herself shrinks herself down and says, "Oh, it's not an achievement, it's just a job that pays rent." No, Nate's job just pays rent. Your job is an achievement, and the whole movie is about this. A quick tangent here, first, never let a man make a joke at your expense. It is never just a joke. Men rarely joke like that. Men rarely joke in general. They're testing to see what behavior you will tolerate. Don't allow it. Leave the moment you hear this. And second, that feeling that you need to downplay your achievements, needs, or desires is the clearest sign that this man is not for you. Your man will celebrate you. A petty little boy who hates you will make you shrink yourself so you never dare to ask for more again. And thus, you will never leave him. right? But it gets worse. Like this dynamic between Andy and Nate, it gets progressively worse. The moment Nate is actually supportive of Andy is when she tells him she's thinking of quitting because she couldn't source an unreleased Harry Potter's manuscript for Miranda's kids. What would normal boyfriend do in this situation, right? Like, what would be his reaction? Well, I'll tell you Nate's reaction. Andy, good for you. Congratulations, you are free. I mean, he knew how important this career stuff was for her, what this job could give to her, how many doors it can open. And instead of showing basic human empathy, he says, you are free. As if she just quit a shift at a gas station in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't even bother to ask, why does she quit? Then, what does he do next? He celebrates the fact that she's quitting a job that mattered to her. She didn't even want to quit. She just thought she was about to be fired anyway, so she tried to jump ship first. There was nothing to celebrate in her eyes, right? But for him, it's worth a fancy dinner when he's gonna cook. I will not be breaking down every single interaction they have because it honestly just gets worse and worse, like exponentially worse. And he is as toxic as if not more toxic than Miranda Priestley. But because his behavior is wrapped in the packaging of caring about Andy, we were expected to swallow it and kind of, digest this. There is a pattern. A man starts a relationship with you knowing exactly who you are. A strong, independent, ambitious woman. Midway through, he becomes insecure and emasculated by your growth and immediately starts to resent you and eventually hates you. He will become the biggest roadblock on the way to your goals because in his paranoid mind, your success is a direct threat to him. I would go as far as to say that even actual narcissists with all their grandiosity, they aren't nearly as common or sneaky as these guys. The chances of meeting a clinical narcissist are relatively low, and you usually feel it on your skin right away. But these insecure, emasculated Nate types, the world is full of them. So, why do these men hate their girlfriends? There is an important distinction to make here. These men don't necessarily hate women in general. They actually like women. They understand the value of female energy and enjoy being surrounded by them. And honestly, who wouldn't, right? Like, who doesn't like that? But at the same time, they feel deeply threatened by it. In all the examples we discussed today, Prince Hamlet serves as the ultimate psychological blueprint. And I've actually written a Substack piece on this exact concept. I will leave the link in the description box below so you can check it out. And don't forget to subscribe. Hamlet loves his mother immensely, but he hates her at the same time. He hesitates to kill his uncle Claudius for this exact reason. He unconsciously desires what Claudius achieved, but admitting the desire feels like self-betrayal. And to accept the love for his mother is to commit a self-betrayal. And when you read the text, you actually see that he does exactly the opposite of ghosts of his father ask him to do. And this is a dynamic plenty of men experience. They harbor an unresolved love-hate dynamic towards their mother because therapy is for the weak. But hatred feels safer Hatred doesn't require vulnerability. It doesn't force you to go deep into a relationship or open up your inner world. You can just hate and resent. It's easy. Yet, they still want love. Everyone wants love, right? So what do these men do? They seek out a woman who is vibrant, full of life, energy, and ambition, and they project the image of their mother onto her. And little by little, they suck the life out of her, using an arsenal of manipulation tactics learned years ago. So this relationship with the woman is basically their relationship or repetition of their relationship with their mothers. And they will make you complete with other women, demand that you make yourself smaller, or gaslight you into believing your goals are impossible to achieve them because they could never achieve them. So why should you? And as much as they interest in you, as much as they want to be with you, they hate you because you're a threat to them. And here is the ultimate takeaway. If you constantly feel like you have to apologize for your success, downplay your income, or walk on eggshells around a man who claims to love you, he doesn't love you. He resents you. Like, he kind of likes you though, but like, it doesn't mean anything. And you cannot fix a man who is using you to fight his own internal battles. So the best thing you can do to yourself is to move on. This is it from me for today. Please let me know your thoughts and maybe other examples which I missed of this type of man. And let me know in the comments which of these three dynamics have you seen in real life? Is it Ross or Mr. Darcy or maybe Nate? Hit the like button if you like this video, and subscribe for more pop culture breakdowns. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.